Hi, in this screencast I'm going to demonstrate debugging Beacon using Eclipse. For demonstration purposes, I have already created a bug and inserted that into Learning Switch. And I also have an instance of Mininet running in another virtual machine, so we can connect up an OpenFlow switch and a couple of hosts to demonstrate this bug. So why don't we get started, and I'm going to start up Beacon with actually just the Learning Switch bundle running. So I've got a launch created for that here, and I'm going to hit debug to start it. Then I'm going to come to my terminal and tell Mininet to connect to this now running instance of Beacon. And we see down here that the switch has connected and we're good to go. So why don't we start a ping between two of these virtual hosts. And oh, looks like we have a problem here. So let's come to the debug perspective in Eclipse. And let's take a better look at this console output. So it looks like we're getting a Java exception here. And why don't we click on the top link here and see if we can figure out what's going on this line. So it's Learning Switch line 83, and it's a null pointer exception, so it's one of the variables here must be null and causing an issue. So let's set a breakpoint. You can set a breakpoint in Eclipse by just double clicking over here in the margin, and we see it's now stopped here. The thread is suspended. Let's take a look at both of these variables. If you put your mouse over it, it'll tell you the current value. So DL source long is not null. In fact, its value is 2. But Mac table is in fact null. So let's scroll up and look for any assignments to that variable. Nothing here, and we have some stuff here. So looks like initially it's retrieved from a bigger Mac tables map. And so if it comes null out of here, it looks like it's not going to get changed in this section. But here it looks like Mac table is being assigned a new map, so probably this ought to be equals equals. So why don't we try changing that? Go ahead and hit, we'll save this source file, and it'll push this out to the running instance of Beacon so we can immediately try it without having to restart. Why don't we turn off this breakpoint, and we'll go ahead and come up here and hit play. And let's see if that helped us at all. Oh, in fact it did. So now our pings and our data is getting through. We don't have this null pointer exception issue any longer. So this demonstrates the ability to fix code on the fly of your running Beacon instance and push it back out there immediately, which really cuts down on the time it takes to fix bugs and interact and understand what's happening with your program. Now I'll show you a couple other interesting things you can do with debugging. You can set breakpoints that are conditional, so they only break based on some programmatic condition. So I'll double click here and create another breakpoint, and then I'll right click on it and go to breakpoint properties, can click conditional, and now the Mac table should not be equal to null. So why don't we verify this by first breaking when it is null. So we'll say if Mac table equals null, that'll be our condition to break. It looks like it broke in the meantime, so we'll go ahead and hit play to clear that. And the switch reconnected, so the table will be null, so that's expected. But now after the switch is connected and things are happy, we don't expect it to be null any longer. So we can, in fact, stop this ping, give it a couple seconds for the flows to time out, start the ping again, and we would expect the breakpoint not to break. So let's try that, and in fact it didn't. Now let's cancel the ping and change this conditional to test for when it's not equal to null, which we would expect it to break. And let's try again. And it did. So that's a little demonstration of conditional breakpoints. We can also set expressions over here which will be evaluated at runtime whenever you are walking through code. So for example here, let's say we wanted to know what the size of this Mac tables is. So we can put in here Mac tables.size. and it'll give us the value here at runtime. So that's useful as well. So anyway, these are a couple basic ways to teach you how to use the debugging system with Eclipse and Beacon. I hope you've enjoyed this screencast. Thanks.